Fans of Schitt's Creek love the characters with all their flaws, glitz, and glamour. Yes, I am going to be talking about David Rose's sweater collection. But as a knitter, I wanted those patterns. All knitters were foaming at the mouth because the sweaters were beautiful. And it's not just one. Pick your poison, pick your season, pick your episode. Almost all of Schitt's Creek has David Rose modeling another after another amazing sweater. But like the non-existent plush bank accounts of the Rose family, I too don't have the money to fund a lavish sweater collection. Yes, Jean also was raised on a Vogue upbringing, but with a Spam budget. Hi, my name is Jean, and I am a nerd that knits. So as knitters, we're going to knit. So sit back as I talk about these beauties and comparable knits that you will find today. I really grew up with seeing Vogue catalogs in our house, and I knew a lot of these designers and designer names and who these people are. And I'm not just talking about like the designers that are kind of more mainstream. I'm talking about like Jean-Paul Gaultier. I am talking like old school. We were talking like Versace, and we're not talking about the sister Versace. I am talking about male Versace before he was assassinated. I absolutely love Alexander McQueen. He mourned his brilliance that was lost to the fashion community. It's just so nice to see in a TV show, they really put the effort into stylizing these actors and actresses with the clothes that they would have worn before they lost their money. So one of the sweaters I really want to talk about is the famous lightning bolt sweater. Out of all the sweaters in Schitt's Creek that are in David Rose's collection, none is more iconic than the famous lightning bolt sweater. Yes, this is a very iconic sweater. And I think we first saw this sweater in Schitt's Creek promotional pictures. And man, has it inspired a multitude of knitted sweaters. I have seen this sweater on Ravelry. I have seen it on Instagram. I have seen it in Etsy. I mean, there are so many places you can get this sweater for sure. And the designer is Neil Barrett, and you'll be seeing his name quite a bit. So 3 comparable sweaters that I have found are Clara Cecilia Bowie Rose. The designer was directly inspired by David Bowie and David Rose. Maximum Sear Bolt. Designer was directly inspired by David Rose. And Elizabeth Felgate Lightning. Designer inspiration talks about superhero lore. So I'm thinking Thor and Thunderbolt, but it could be a bunch of other kind of superheroes. So these 3 designers definitely feed your hunger for a good bolt. Let's talk about my Thunderbolt. I absolutely love Maximum Sear. He is a designer that I've been following for a while. All of his pieces are very clean. You will see a lot of his pieces throughout this. And so I did the Thunderbolt or the Bolt. And I do happen to have a thing for Thunderbolts. So I made this iconic bolt sweater. This was made for my husband. He chose the colors, and I love the look so much I will need to make one for myself. In fact, I think I want to make my lightning bolt hot pink just because. Throughout Schitt's Creek, David is constantly showing and telling us about his amazing and expansive sweater collection. One thing that I believe that all sweater lovers can relate to is the fear of moths and the fear of our fine knits being destroyed by bugs.
I'm building a cedar chest for my knits.
So it is behooveth on us that we find some cedar and build our box, our chest, or whatever. And there are so many ways that you can do this. There are so many products out there. You can just find chips of cedar and just throw it in your drawer, even though I would definitely not suggest that. But there definitely are products out there that you can find to help prevent those moth bugs coming into your knits. Another sweater that was made popular by Schitt's Creek that was also designed by Neil Barrett is called the Geometric Intarsia sweater. While I was looking into Neil Barrett, he had a very interesting comment about how he designs his knitwear. I really like contrasts. Mixing two things together is a hybrid for me. It's my ideal method of designing, and I've always designed like that for the last 20 years. And I really like his take on contrasts. The only thing with that is he does it in such a very beautiful way, because sometimes contrasts, they're really hard to put them together and not have them kind of like repel each other. It's really hard to get two contrasts that kind of have this yin and yang kind of piece with each other. So, I mean, he's making it sound like it's an easy task, but it's not as easy as you would think. 3 patterns that are kind of comparable to the Geometric Intarsia would be the Midori Hero's Twinkle. It is designed top down and it has coloring sheets. Tin Can Knits Strange Brew. It's a plug and play round yoke guideline pattern. You can create your own with nearly 100 stitch patterns. And what I really like about this is you really can design whatever you want, and there is a multitude of sizes. Hilda Marie Kaiser's Ice Star, and this one is designed top down and in the round, but it also kind of has that the edging on the collar like the Geometric Intarsia did. So if any of you guys are a fan of the show Hot Ones, they had Dan Levy on it back, I believe, in 2020, and he kind of just got him talking about knits. The words of Dan Levy, who is the producer, writer, and co-creator of Schitt's Creek. He is talking about just sweaters in general, because the man loves sweaters. That is a really fun episode if you have not seen it. So back to the David Rose collection. We're going to focus on just kind of some subcategories of sweaters that David Rose wore. One of the categories is the geometric knits found from his sweater collection. Neil Barrett, G. Gank, Christopher Kane. And the comparables I found for that was Beatrice Perron Dalian, the Shinsho Light, Deborah 1/23, and then Maximum Sear Hide and Peak. So now we're going to pause for a second and do a little bit Alexis. Yes, David Rose has a sister, if you did not watch Schitt's Creek, and she's about as extra as the rest of the Rose family. And is she a clothing horse? Of course she is. And is she a little self-absorbed? The whole family is. Now, Alexa did have designer labels as well, but sadly, not the kind of sweater ones we're interested in. But she does have a crochet dress, and the crochet dress is very iconic. It was a white crocheted lace dress, and she had black undergarments. I was looking for a name, I was looking for some kind of label, and I could not find anything. So I'm thinking that maybe this was like a 70s retro pattern, and somehow this dress made its way to the customer. So the 3 comparables I found for this dress was Gala Zurina, the dress Grace, Nettie Gosman, blue dress, and Doris Chan, sleeveless dress. I'm sorry, ladies, if I slaughtered your last names. So all these dresses are very kind of similar to Alexis's dress, And once again, we got a crochet dress, so this is great. Even. So back to David Rose's collection, animal prints and reptiles. David did not shy away from animal prints, and I love him for it. He is wearing a Saint Laurent kind of, I would say like a zebra print. And Anne-Marie is more of a snake, and then in Saint Laurent, more like a leopard print. And so I found comparables to those as well. Michelle Porter, zoologist pullover, $4.23. Caitlin Shepherd, slinky sly sweater, and Sweater Freak acceleration pullover. So we're going to stop and pause and talk about cashmere. We're going to talk about the cost analysis of cashmere, because David talks about cashmere quite a bit, his cashmere sweaters, and how much he's afraid that they're going to be destroyed by moths.
Try putting a cashmere sweater in the washing machine.
Cable sweaters are a basic for any wardrobe, but let's talk about the cost, because luxury sweaters are costly, but sometimes they could be a little vague as to why they are so expensive. The bulk of the money translates to the price tag is based on the materials and the labor. And I'm just gonna say the bottom line is cashmere. Cashmere has a hefty price tag.
Girls of owning cashmere.
Just one skein of cashmere is expensive, but then you have to multiply that by how many skeins you actually need for the project. So cable sweaters actually require more yardage than a basic sweater. And just depending on how you are, sometimes you're going to need more, sometimes you're going to need less. Thinner yarn has less surface area, so therefore you need more yarn. Thicker yarn has more surface area, so therefore you're going to need less yarn. But when it comes to cashmere, you have to add more cashmere if you're going to have a thicker yarn, because more material is used for that. So the bottom line is just cashmere is expensive. Like this picture, Givenchy sweater, born in season 1 of Schitt's Creek. It is definitely a cabled wool sweater. It's probably a cabled cashmere sweater. So, you know, ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. And then to the right of it is a Givenchy 4G cable sweater, 2024, and it is $1,700, and this is the price from Nordstrom's online. And to me, this sweater looks like a cotton wool blend, but most definitely a lot of work went into that cabling. So still a very beautiful yet expensive sweater. Here's the math breakdown that I have of just cashmere in general. So even if you are making the sweater and not factoring in the cost of labor, the material is $973 retail, not wholesale. The savings of wholesale yarn is offsetting the labor cost. I will say machine labor is cheaper than hand knitting labor. And also it's kind of hard to break down hand knitting labor versus machine labor, because it's just, they're not done at the same rate. The next 3 sweaters, I don't have the designers at the top, but all of them were definitely in episodes except for the one with the roses. I don't really remember the rose emblem on the sweater being in the series. I think it was just a promotional sweater. So the last 3 sweaters I'm going to talk about, I do not know the designers' names, and that's okay, but I will show you the comparables. The comparables are Maximum Sear, Winston Floral, Lindsay Deegan Adult Eye Sweater, and Maximum Sear's Active Duty. I do find it very hilarious that we do actually see David Rose in camouflage, because he does kind of make a stink about wearing camouflage.
Is this a tweed or a camo situation?
This designer has a very healthy addiction to Schitt's Creek, like myself. And yes, this is the second sweater he designed based off of the TV drama. The Winston Floral is a beautiful ode to the Rose Apothecary. It is such an amazing sweater. I went short sleeve so I could add more funky bits. This is a showstopper for sure, simple yet very classic in its design. And I'm not sure 100% that it was designed with the Rose Apothecary in mind, or just David Rose in general, but it's just a very well designed pattern for sure. To me, there's something very nostalgic about this design, and I don't know exactly where it stems from, but all I can remember is watching Austin City Limits growing up on PBS. And for some strange reason, this flower design reminds me of maybe some embroidered rose that I saw on someone's costume, but for some strange reason, this is a very nostalgic design. And so for some strange reason, I'm feeling that this is there's just something home about this design for me. I don't know if you're going to feel that way about ones in floral, but this is such a great pattern. And the fact that it was inspired from Schitt's Creek just touches me even a little bit more, just because the series is so heartfelt, and to me it's kind of where I want to see us in the future. I want us to not really care about anybody's drama, so as much as the roses care about their own drama and everybody else's drama. So there's something about this nostalgic design that it's just a delight. So I'm very happy that this was designed, and I really feel that you can make this for males and for females, but it's such a beautiful designed sweater. So I really hope that you agree with me, and if you don't, another part about this pattern that I thought that was really fun and playful, and something I didn't know when I came across the pattern, is that it included a bonus. And what is that bonus, you might be thinking? Well, it comes in the bonus of a drink recipe. So this was delightful. No shade to those that don't drink, but this was just a really nice addition to the pattern. And I'm just now realizing that my drink and my sweater match. This definitely was not intentional. I didn't go, oh, I'm gonna find some yarn to match the drink. No, I am not that extra. Now, before you think, okay, John, you are the only one that is obsessed with this show and obsessed with the sweaters, and I would say, oh, no. My friend, there are other people that are equally obsessed other than just me. And this lovely fellow knitter would be one of them. Yes, she has an Instagram called the Shitty Knit. I kid you not, this is so delicious. She went through all of the sweaters, or not all of this, she went through some of David Rose's sweaters and recreated them. So if you get on her Instagram, you'll definitely see some sweaters that you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. What episode is that from? So it's a great little kind of walk in the park, reminding you of the episodes and reminding you of the sweater collection. She's made the lightning bolt. She's actually made 2 lightning bolt sweaters, because if you are a Schitt's Creek fan, you would know that there wasn't just one lightning bolt sweater, there were 2. So from her little journey of recreating sweaters, she does have 2 that you can purchase. And the 2 designs actually are the one with the star on the collar and then the ring of stars. The name of these creations are quoted from the lines of the show. The Consider This My Olive Branch sweater and the I Know My Pin Number, It's My Birthday sweater. Both are very iconic as well.
Do you like this sweater?
It is no mystery that the creators of Schitt's Creek used costuming in order for their character development. One thing is for sure, David Rose's sweater collection has really left a mark on the knitting community. Whether you are a fan of Schitt's Creek or not, the designs of these sweaters have really inspired us as knitters to design. There is such a rich history of knit design wear in all of the sweaters that he wears, and it just really shows you that the designing world in knitwear is alive and it's well, and it is very, very popular, and it is also very, very much appreciated when we have such an amazing character like show us a sweater each episode, and I think I'd be hard to find him not wearing a sweater in each of his episodes in the whole, and I believe the show is 6 seasons long. So if anything, David Rose is our fellow sweater brethren, so please look at the great designs that were inspired by this great TV show. Thank you for listening. Please like, comment, and subscribe.